Do you ever find you have a positive desire to do something meaningful with your life, but then when you start thinking about all the ways to achieve this, you become overwhelmed with the whats and the hows? Before you know it, you've completely given up, and your day-to-day existence is back to doom scrolling on your phone. You feel stuck, wishing your life was more fulfilling and had a purpose. Well, it sounds like you might be struggling with motivation. But what if I told you that the answer to this is simple? Doctors Edwin Locke and Gary Latham spent 30 years pioneering research into goal setting and motivation, devising the goal-setting theory, a clear set of principles that not only gets to the root of what keeps us motivated, but assists in helping us to achieve our goals. In essence, setting yourself clear goals that were specific and challenging, though not too challenging, while also receiving appropriate feedback, were found to be key in sustaining motivation, leading to a greater possibility of success towards achieving their desired goal. Well, that's great, you might say, but I don't actually know how to motivate myself. Here are a few tips to help you get unstuck and motivated towards enjoying a happier, more fulfilling life. Our first step is to write it down. Let's try something. Get a pen and paper, set yourself a timer for 5 minutes, and write down the answers to these questions. What do I want to achieve in my life? What changes would I like to see in the world? Don't think too much about it. Just let your instincts take over and your writing hand roam free on the page. This exercise is to assist you in identifying what matters to you most in life. Are you after fame and fortune? An unspeakable desire to influence and inspire people? Or are you more of an altruistic, practical, hands-on type, wanting to get stuck in, helping to push things forward for the sake of humanity? Specifically, what are your values? On his popular podcast entitled How to Increase Motivation and Drive, Andrew Huberman emphasizes the importance of identifying your values, but more importantly, aligning them with your goals. Having well-defined goals that are aligned with our values provides us with an authentic sense of purpose and direction. Putting it simply, when we have something to strive for, it gives us a sense of purpose. But we are more likely to stay motivated and focused on our tasks if we care deeply about them. Our next tip is to get SMART, SMART. Now, we've established what your values are. You should be ready to set goals which are aligned to those values that'll take you on the path towards achieving your ambitions. But before we rush off down this road and risk getting lost, losing motivation all over again, it's important to have a plan in place that keeps us accountable in our quest to meet our goals. We need to get SMART, SMART. In 1990, Locke and Latham published their work, A Theory of Goal Setting and Task Performance, outlining 5 major characteristics that were required for successful goal setting. An easy way to remember these characteristics can be achieved by remembering the acronym SMART: specific, measurable, acceptable, realistic, time-bound. Let's go through these. For example, let's say your major ambition in life is to inspire and influence people by competing at the Olympic Games. But in order to compete at the Olympics, you need to become a professional athlete and get into the best shape of your life. So how can we apply the SMART method? Instead of setting yourself the vague and intimidating goal of getting into the best shape of your life, it's important to be realistic, taking into account your current fitness level and how much you can actually achieve at this early stage. For example, you could start by going for a run for 30 minutes, 3 times a week. This goal already includes specificity, i.e. going for a run, and is measurable, i.e. 30 minutes, 3 times a week. Tracking your results over the first 4 weeks, you might start to get an idea of how much distance you can run in 30 minutes, and subsequently want to push yourself to get a faster time over the next 4-week period. Keep setting new goals. Keep tracking your performance. Slowly, you will improve, and with improvement comes results and increased motivation. It's important to apply a time deadline to your goals. In this instance, trying to better your personal best run time within a 4-weekly period, as it helps to keep you motivated to strive to better your previous performances. So far, we've covered S, specify, M, measurable, R, realistic, and T, time-bound. But what about A for acceptable? Well, you wouldn't be setting these goals for yourself if it wasn't aligned with your values. The goals have to be acceptable to you. So remember that when you're having a bad day, that you're doing this because it's deeply aligned with your values. As the old adage goes, Rome wasn't built in a day. And while having grand ambitions are indeed admirable, it's arguably even more admirable to be patient. Namely, temper your expectations. As Andrew Huberman stresses on his podcast, having expectations that are too great, striving for too much too soon, will quickly lead to feelings of frustration and disappointment, promptly killing your motivation and your dreams dead in their tracks. This lack of motivation can often be a significant barrier to productivity, which brings us to today's sponsor, Imprint. who can help with this. Imprint is a learning app that functions as a visual guide to the world's most important knowledge. Through bite-sized interactive sessions ranging from subjects such as psychology, philosophy, history, and more, you can learn from the world's most respected professors and authors in as little as 2 minutes a day. These sessions are filled with animated visual explanations that not only keep you engaged, but also help you understand complex concepts quickly and remember information in the long term. Stop doom scrolling and start learning. Imprint is the way to feel good about your screen time and learn something new, rather than just mindlessly scrolling on social media. Join millions of users who are learning with Imprint. They've received over 30,000 5-star reviews on the App Store and Google Play, which is a testament to the quality they bring to the table. Head over to imprintapp.com/improvementpill, and the first 200 of our subscribers to sign up will get 20% off an annual membership. Thanks to Imprint for sponsoring today's video. Now, back to the topic at hand. Finally, focus on the process, not the outcome. Vincent van Gogh is widely known as one of the most celebrated and influential painters in Western art history. But did you know he didn't even become famous until after he had died? Well, then how did he turn up to work every day and stay motivated to keep painting if he never achieved any success in his lifetime? Because he was focused on the process and not the outcome. Van Gogh didn't become a painter because he wanted to be famous. He became a painter simply because he loved to paint. The purpose of his art was to express his individualism and emotions in everyday items that inspired him. So remember what we said earlier about aligning your goals with your values. Turning up to work every day should be about passion. You love what you do. And if you truly align your values with your goals, focusing on the process won't be difficult at all because you'll be too consumed with devotion to what you do. Have you ever heard the expression, life is about the journey, not the destination? Well, okay, great, you're probably thinking. But I'm not an artist. How does any of this relate to me? Let me make this painfully clear. It still relates to you. Enjoy the process of what you do. Break down each goal into smaller steps. Celebrate each and every milestone along the way. And while the point of this last tip is to make sure you're not only focusing on the outcome, don't be fooled or deterred into thinking that you may never be successful. As the American philosopher Henry David Thoreau famously remarked, success usually comes to those who are too busy looking for it. I hope you enjoyed this video and stay tuned.